Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya
Jaya Sachidanandana Jaya Sachidanandana Jaya Sachidanandana Gaura Hare
Jaya Sachidanandana Jaya Sachidanandana Jaya Sachidanandana Gaura Hare
Nadiya Bihari Gaura Hare Sachi Mata Prana Gana Gaura Hare
Hariya Bihari Gaura Hare Sati Mata Prana Gaura Hare
Gaura 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 Hare Gaura 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 Hare
Gaura Gaura Gaura
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai, 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 Radha Rani की जय, महारानी की जय, राधा रानी 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 की जय, महारानी की जय, राधा डोर ओपन नहीं हो रहा है।
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tum bina ke dayalu jagat samsare Tum bina ke dayalu jagat samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karo More Patita Bhavana Hetu Patita Prabhu na paive ara Mosama Patita Prabhu na paive Mosama Patita Prabhu Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balakana Karo Ami Para Dukhi Kripa Balakana Karo Jaidvaita Gosai Jaya Karo Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Pale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Pale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ahaswarupana Rupara Gunata Ahaswarupana Rupara Gunata Bhaja Jugati Divaha Prabhu Lokanatha Bhaja Jugati Divaha Prabhu Lokanatha Jaya Guru Sriyacharya Prabhu Srinivasa Jaya Guru Sriyacharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sanghamange Narottama Dasa Ramachandra Sanghamange Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Narottam Das Thakur Maharaj ki Jai
Bhagavad
Either Bhagavad Gita as it is, or second canto. That's Bhagavad Gita. Jaya Gatha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Raja Jana Vandana Sharanandana Raja Jana Natida Munatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Om Shabad Ganesh Shukri Raj Kacharya Ashtotra Krishnan AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai
Anand Koti Vaishnavin ki jai. Namacharya Srila Vedas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kunigiri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navdeep Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri ki jai. Gangamai ki jai. Jamunamai ki jai. Dev ki jai. Bhakti Dev ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is, 7th chapter, text 25. You want to lower it? Well, yeah, good. Is that okay? Yeah, that is good. Thank you. Not quite. It may not be quite as good when we're not reading. Okay, let's.
We have books. I can give it to you.
No. This is a microphone question. I think right about here, sort of in the middle. Thank you. You have books. Well, if you like, then you can distribute the books and people can chant from the books. There's also, oh yeah, you've got lots of them. 725. Yeah, if cell phones also. $7.25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha Toyam na pijanati
Doyam Navjati
Loko mamajam abhayam
Aham Prakasha Sarvasya
Naham prakasha sarvasya
Maya Samavritaha
Yoga maya samavritaha
Doyam na vijanati
Loko mamajam abhyayam
Loko mamajam abhyayam
Naham prakasha sarvasya Yoga maya samavritaha
Yoga maya
Yamna vijanati Loko mamajam Naham prakasha sarvasya
Yogamaya
Maya
Samavita
Samavita
Uttoyam na
Janati
vijanati Loko
Mama
Mahamajamabhyayam
Jamabhyayam
Naham Prakasha Sarvasya
Yasya
Yogamaya
Maya
Samavita
Samavita
Uttoyam na vijanati
Vijanati
Loko Mahamajamabhyayam
Jamabhyayam
Naham Prakasha Sarvasya
Sarvasya
Yogamaya
Maya
Samavita
Samavita
Uttoyam na
Udojana
vijanati
Vijanati
Loko
Mama
Mamajamabhyayam.
Jamabhyayam
Ladies. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya
Sarvasya
Yogamaya
Yogamaya
Samavritaha
Samavita
Uttoyam na vijanati
Nabijanati
Loko
Loko Mama
Mamajamabhyayam.
Jamabhyayam
Naham Prakasha Sarvasya
Sarvasya
Yogamaya
Yogamaya
Samavritaha
Samavita
Uttoyam na vijanati
Nabijanati
Loko
Mama
Mamajamabhyayam.
Jamabhyayam
Naham Prakasha
Prakasha
Sarvasya
Sarvasya
Yogamaya
Yogamaya
Samavritaha
Samavita
Uttoyam na
Udoyam
vijanati
Nabijanati
Loko
Mama
Mamajamabhyayam.
Jamabhyayam
Na nor
Na
ahang I
Aham
Prakasha manifest Sarvasya to
Sarvasya
everyone. Yogamaya by
Yogamaya
internal potency.
by internal potency
Samavritaha
Samavritaha covered
Mudha foolish.
Mudha
Ayam
foolish
these.
I am
Na
these
not.
Na not
Abhijanati can
Abhijanati
understand.
can understand
Lokaha
Lokaha
persons. Mam
persons
me.
Mam me
Ajam
Ajam
unborn.
unborn
Abhyayam
Abhayam inexhaustible.
inexhaustible. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Purport. It may be argued that since Krishna was present on this earth and was visible to everyone, then why isn't he manifest to everyone now? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the Supreme Personality, the Supreme God. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the Supreme, but not everyone. It was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure. but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. Om Jnana Tasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Kena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakata Mahyam Tadhati Shapatantikam Mande Han Shri Guru Shri Dutapadakamaman Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Gatam Tam Sahivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tabda Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Gopitarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Yevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashali Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavritaha Mukho Yam Navijanati Loko Mam Bhajan Avyayam. Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, not manifest to everyone. Not everyone could see. When Krishna appeared in the assembly of Duryodhana, of the Kurus, then Duryodhana tried to arrest Krishna, thinking that he was an ordinary political figure, ordinary man. And Krishna showed him a thing or two. He manifested in universal form. But because the non-devotee can't understand. The Bhaktyamam Avijanati Yamanyastrasmi Tattva. By devotional service, one can understand. Not otherwise. So the non-devotees, even when Krishna was present, couldn't understand. They calculated that he looks like us, he talks like us, he's like us. What is that? Avajananti Mam Mudha Manashin Tanamashita. Because he looks like a human being. He, like they say in law, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck. So they calculated that way and said, well, it's a duck. But that's the limit of material calculation. It all makes sense, it all lines up, and it's all wrong. Because although Krishna appears to be a human being, he's very different from the human being. Satchidananda Vigraha, his form is not like our form, an external covering of the self. His self is none different from his body. Dehi Deha, Videdo Yam, Neshware Vidite Kuche. There's no difference at all between Krishna and his form. And with it, therefore, and his form is unlimitedly powerful. So he's sitting on the lap of his mother and killing Puta and Rakshasa. Not a problem. Not a problem. So many wonderful things Krishna did, but the materialists can't see. Even we saw with Srila Prabhupada, such wonderful manifestation of potency, but not everyone could understand it. There were those who were envious. There were those who thought that, yes, he was a little successful because he has some business ability, so he could organize. But they couldn't realize the transcendental empowerment that had been given to him, even though they should have. And even though, even reformed hippies could get it, even some of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas couldn't appreciate it. They thought that he's like us. How has he become so successful when we've not been so successful? Even with our friends, contemporaries, some of our schoolmates may have been extraordinary in some way, and we just thought of them as ordinary people. We didn't realize they'd go on to become a great scientist or a great musician or a great this, because we're thinking they're more or less like us. So if you extend that mentality up to the point of the absolute, then you come to this understanding that Naham Prakasha Sarvasya. People in general couldn't understand Krishna because they would see by material calculation, and they didn't have eyes of devotional service. Premanjana Shurita Bhakti Vilochanina Santan Sadai Vidiyeshu Vilokayanti. The sadhus can see, but the asad jan, the ordinary materialistic people, what is that? Atmavan Manyate Vika. Prabhupada used to quote that proverb. We see everyone to be like ourselves. So Shishupal was even ranting against Krishna, thinking because of envy. And Srila Prabhupada points out, it's in second canto, I believe, and elsewhere, that this envy begins at the top. We're envious of our neighbors, we're envious of our friends, but we're envious of our competitors. But the original envy is envy of the Supreme Personality of God. Why should I have to serve him? We don't like it. That's the disease of the conditioned soul. He doesn't want to serve. He wants to be served. He wants to be in the center and not to serve the center. So with that envious mentality, one can't understand Krishna. One has to come to the devotional mentality. One can begin to understand. Even we see in ordinary dealings, when we're envious of someone or we're in a combative spirit with someone, then that person has no good qualities. He's a louse. He's, But somehow if our mind changes and we become a little charitably disposed, see, there's good quality, there's good quality. But we can't even see good qualities of those who are close to us when we're envious. And that envy again begins with envy of the personality of God, that when we're envious, we can't understand Krishna. Even the scientists who deny any personality, it's out of envy. Krishna is present all around them in the nature that they're so dedicated to studying. And they can't get it because without devotional service, one will not be able to see. So to the mutas, muta means ass. What will the ass understand? You take your philosophy book and start preaching to the ass. What to speak of philosophy? Srila Prabhupada points out that the ass gets loaded down by the washerman with big bundles of laundry, or by the construction worker with big loads of bricks. And he's working all day for a little vegetable, a little grass that's held out to him by his master. And he thinks, yes, I'm working and I'm getting something from my work. But he's working literally like an ass, as an ass. And Prabhupada points out his other happiness is he gets some sex life, for which he gets kicked in the face by the she-ass. And of course, I've read that, but in Vrindavan, if you spend time there, you'll see it also, or wherever asses congregate. It's quite something to see that the ass is approaching the female ass for sex, and literally getting kicked in the face by her heels in his face. And still and we know human beings who have the same behavioral pattern. They get kicked and they get kicked and still there. So with such an asinine mentality, one can't understand Krishna. Krishna is not such a cheap thing that any ass can understand him. Any fool can understand him just by thinking, or by visual inspection, or by philosophy. You know, what philosophy will the ass have? Be dull. It would be dull. So the dullard can't understand Krishna. But he's understood because he's covered by his internal potency. Yogamaya samavrita. Avrita means covered, and samavrita, totally covered, thoroughly covered by Yogamaya. Yogamaya is Krishna's internal potency, by which he can conceal himself. He can reveal himself by his internal potency, or he can conceal himself by his internal potency, or he can do both. In Vrindavan, acting for a different reason, Krishna conceals his identity as the Supreme Personality of God. The Prajvasis are thinking Krishna is our friend, Krishna is our son, Krishna is our beloved. They're thinking of Krishna in that way. And to suggest that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like silly. Even if they hear it, yes, but so what? They don't see, because that would spoil the devotional relationship. Krishna can't rebuke, or Yashodamaya can't rebuke Krishna for his mischief if she's thinking of the Supreme Personality of God. Even when Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, then Devaki and Vasudeva offered nice prayers to the Lord because they saw him as the Lord. But then Krishna covered them a little so that they could treat them like their son. The same thing, yes, in different instances, Krishna expanded his internal potency, Yogamaya, so that the devotees who recognized, yes, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could love him without impairment by his majestic nature. So in that way, Yogamaya helps in the devotional exchanges. But for the non-devotees, there are no devotional exchanges, and Yogamaya acts to cover them, not to enhance their devotion, but to block Krishna from their vision. One reason is, why does Krishna want to have these people bothering him? Why should he have to deal with these people just like a private secretary? Not everybody gets into the office. If you have no business there, you're just a salesman, or you're whoever you are. You get ushered to some other. You get turned away. You get turned away. Sorry, no. The boss isn't in today. Or we don't allow peddlers, just straight up. So the Yogamaya acts to exclude the non-devotees because Krishna is not attracted to dealing with them. He wants to exchange love and have loving dealings with his friends, with his mother and father, with his gopis, with the cowherd boys. He doesn't want to deal with the non-devotee rascals who just want to badmouth him. Abhijananti. He doesn't want to deal with them. He doesn't want to deal with the Mayavadis who want to deny his personal form. He'll exchange with them, all right. Yeyatamam prapajante. One, God is impersonal, yes, I'm impersonal. There's no God, yes, there's no God. Whatever you like. And then you can believe it. So Yogamaya helps. Either you can take it that directly the internal potency is working, or the shadow, Mahamaya, is the portion of the Yogamaya. So through the material energy, the Lord bewilders the fools. And one reason is he doesn't want to be bothered, and another reason is they don't want to know about him. They want to think that there's no God. They want to think that Krishna is just a mythological character from the Mahabharata. They want to think that whatever it is that they want to think, it's just a projection of a higher truth. So that's what they want. That's what they get. Krishna reciprocates with them in that way. It's not that you can, if you want, whatever you want, you have to get Braja Prem. No, I want the impersonal absolute. All right, you can have that. No, I want to be Lord of everything. All right, you can imagine that. But Yogamaya Samavata, you'll be covered by the Lord's energy so that you don't see him. However obvious he may be, you won't see. Again, materialists, like Prabhupada pointed out, that the person who has appreciation, he'll see a painting and he'll see the artist. He'll see the painting, of Van Gogh, and he'll think about Van Gogh, his capabilities, what have you, his artistry. But a person who's ignorant or a person who's envious, it's just a piece of canvas with some paint. Anyway, let's Van Gogh. I could have done just as well. In the prayers of Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. The Laksha say, Mutadrisham, the Kunti Devi prays that you're covered. You cover yourself by your internal potency, and therefore you're not visible to ordinary people. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad, Mantra 15, in which the devotee prays, Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham Tatvam Pushana Pavranu Satyadharmaya Krishtaye. O my Lord, You are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will always also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the yoga mind. The Brahmajyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of knowledge, bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge, is covered by the internal potency of the Brahmajyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. And maybe thinking ahead, someone can look up Bhagavatam 10:14-7. 10:14-7. So Hiranmaya Patra means the glowing golden effulgence of the Lord. Okay. Thank you. Oh, but will it stay alive or will it? Thank you. Yeah. So the Hiranmaya means golden. The golden effulgence of the Lord covers the Lord. Touch from, what is that? Satyasya Pitam Mukha. You have your face. Face means form. You have your face, you're a person, but you're covered by the glowing effulgence. So please remove that effulgence so that I can see your transcendental form. This is the version of the Upanishads. When you see a car at night, they turn their brights on, you're blinded. You can't see the car. Can't see anything. You can just see the brights. So when the Lord there's a car there, there's a driver there, but you can't see. So when the Brahmajyoti covers the face of the Lord, we can't appreciate his eternal identity. So we hear the prayers offered. Please remove that glowing effulgence of the Brahmajyoti so that I can see your transcendental form. Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's this prayer by Brahma. Gunatmanastepi gunam vimatum yatavatir nasya ka ishvaresya kalena yarva dimita sukopar pu pangshava ke mihikadu Pushaha, I think it was. I just hit something and now it's been. Thank you. Yeah, Bhushan. Bhushan. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world, or even the planets, but still they're unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn, but also avyaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form, his bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible. Well, maybe I can say, let's stop here and see what questions or comments there would be. Yes.
There was a conference called and
A conference that, okay, we're getting you.
Anyway, the professor.
You don't really need a microphone, you just need the mask off. Go ahead.
The professor that visited the devotees, the religious scholar that visited the devotees at 22nd Avenue,
Yes, Thomas Hopkins.
He said that
But you can give that microphone. Sure.
he said that the only thing that he knew of comparable to the spreading of ISKCON, Prabhupada's achievement was the spreading of Christianity and the spreading of Islam. But that Prabhupada did it in a different culture. Jesus and Muhammad both in their own culture. So Prabhupada, that was just
His appreciation.
just from an objective,
Scholarly standpoint.
realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Spread such spiritual knowledge and culture so expansively in such a short time. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes.
So I got the mic.
Okay. Power.
This is a question about envy. Like we're envious of Krishna, that's where it all starts. But it seems like we're not really envious of somebody who's like way, ahead of us, either spiritually or materially or whatever. But we're envious of the people who are closest to us, who are a little better than us. So how is it, I think that we're envious of Krishna? It doesn't seem like we're envious of Krishna. It seems like we can see some envy with someone who's a little bit, almost an equal, but a little bit better than us. That's what it seems like most envy is. So why isn't it just manifested more on that level?
Why is it? Seems we're more envious of those who are close to us, but we're able to be envious of those who are big. We're just more, you can't grouse about it so much because they look ridiculous. Why couldn't I be president of the United States? Why couldn't I get the Nobel Prize? While you're the local postman or something.
Think about that. I don't know. I certainly don't think about why I can't be president. Why you think
I was thinking about that. Now that you mention it, we always used to hear in the early days that the living entity wants to be God. And I thought, I don't want to be God. It's not like how I think I want to be God. But it didn't quite compute. It didn't digest. But looking back on it, I don't want to be God, but I want to enjoy it. If there's something nice, I want it. If there's money, at least some, I want it. If there's beautiful women, I want one. If there's good food, I want it. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. I want knowledge, I want power, I want fame. I want to be good looking. I want to be. So I don't want to be God. I just want to have all of his opulences. Like a kid, mine. Those are like the first, one of the early words that a child learns. Mine. It's mine. Right? It's mine. So we have this self-centeredness. It's not that I want to be God. I just want everything my world to revolve around me. Well, that's God's position. That's God's position. We want to be in control. What is that? William Ernest Henley. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Everything's up to me. Everything's up to me. No, it's not. There's a higher controller, but we don't want to acknowledge that higher controller. That's envy. Again, probably he's quoting this verse that the scientists might be able to smash the world to powder, but they can't understand Krishna because they want to be the controllers, the enjoyers, the knowers, the authorities. It's a lack of humility. In the Bhagavad Gita, Amanitva Dampitva, there's a list of the items required for knowledge, and the first one is humility. Without humility, we think, about me, I. So there is this envy. There is this envy. Prabhupada told a story to illustrate what envy is. He said that there was some lawyers that were sitting, and they saw the newspaper that someone, Chakravarti, has been elevated to the High Court bench. And so the one lawyer said to Chakravarti, "No, Chakravarti, not possible. No, he's here. Chakravarti, he's an idiot. What is he? One of us. No, he's been promoted. I've seen he's sitting on the bench. Then he must not be getting paid." Something else. Yes.
So, two categories. If the non-devotee is covered, you can't see Krishna as he is. The pure devotee see Krishna as he is. Now, my question is about the aspiring devotee.
About the aspiring devotee?
Yeah, the aspiring. So I look at the deity. I know that's Lord Chaitanya. I see a statue. Or I look at different paintings of Krishna. Some are attractive to me, some aren't so attractive, but they're all Krishna. But obviously, I'm also not seeing Krishna. So what is the position of the aspiring devotee?
That what is the position of the aspiring devotee? We kind of see Krishna, but we don't. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we think materially. So we're recovering. Yeah, we're recovering bhutas. We're under treatment. Sometimes we have our better days, sometimes we have our worst days. But if we stick to the treatment, then we'll come to the healthy position.
The Mahamaya is still covering us, or are we under another potency when we try to surrender?
Are we still under Mahamaya, or when we try to surrender, are we under? Well, we're under Mahamaya, but we're appealing to the internal energy. Please engage me. Dive in Prakritam. We're approaching the internal energy for shelter. But sometimes our determination fails and we think, well, yeah, but today, maybe I could take a break and enjoy the material world a little bit. So we're trying to come under, but the internal energy is very kind. The internal energy of Krishna is very kind, more kind than Krishna. So that prospect is there. sunk in the living by appreciation. We're envious, but we can, even Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had a practice that in the assembly of devotees, because in the assembly of any group of people, there'll be some envy, there'll be these material propensities. So in the assembly of the Gaudiya Math, he would say, okay, now such and such brahmachari will glorify the such and such brahmachari, such and such sannyasi will glorify such and such sannyasi. Knowing that there might be some reservations, but when we're called upon, then we start to think, oh, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. Then we start to think, no, he's actually quite a lot there. So when we appreciate, so when we therefore shravanam, when we start to hear, then if we speak up and say, oh, well, this and that, then we start to appreciate more. The person has this quote, Rukmini, just by hearing about Krishna, she walks out. I don't want to marry anyone else. It's got to be Krishna. It's just by hearing. And speaking about Krishna, one becomes more attractive. Hearing, chanting, remembering. So we're doing the right things. The process Srila Prabhupada has given us. It's the right process. We don't have to do some other thing, but we have to stick to it.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes. Okay, we're in the end on time.
No, can I ask a question, please? I'm on the Zoom.
Oh, sure. The unembodied.
So you quoted from the Invictus poem, Maharaj, Master of my fate and captain of my soul. But to some degree, aren't we responsible for our choices and directing our life in the right direction?
Yeah, we are to some degree. The title of the poem, by the way, is Invictus, Invincible, which we're certainly not. But we are, that's described in the 18th chapter, that there are 5 constituents or 5 elements that bring about the accomplishment of any action. And one of them is us. Adhishthanam, Tata Karta, the place and the person. The person is trying to do it. He certainly has a role. If we don't act, then nothing happens. Or we don't accomplish anything. Adhishthanam, Tata Karta, Karanam Chakrata Vitan, we're working with our senses. And Vividas Chakratak Cheshta, the different kinds of energy that we put into it. But Daivam Chaiva Trapanchana. Finally, there's Daiva, which you can, if you're a materialist, you can say destiny, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Teva. Therefore, what is that? Satikartara Matmanam, Ramamtuyana, Kritabudhit, Nasa Prashati, Gurumati. Sadraivam Satikartaram Atmanam Kevalam Tuya Pashyati Kritabudhitam Nasa Prashati. So if a person thinks it's all up to me, he's a fool. A krita buddhi. Krita buddhi means intelligence is not so good, not mature, not developed, unintelligent. We're meant to be foolish. It's all up to me. It's not that, but people are taught that. It's all up to you. You create your own reality. It's all in your hands. Babes. No, it's not. It's up to Krishna. You can try all you want. You could be the most qualified person. You could be in the right place at the right time. You're the right man for the job. And if it's not so desired by Krishna, nothing.
Mm.
I was speaking about this the other night. There was some example that some person was like a shoe-in for winning some Olympic medal. He missed his plane. Couldn't participate. Just like that.
Mm.
You think it's up to me, but a humble person knows that it's up to God. Therefore, the custom quite nice in Islamic society. After anything, you're talking about a plan, a future event, inshallah. If God so desires. That used to be part of English discourse also, God willing. Who says God willing today? Who says God is just sort of not a part of usual American discourse? No, he should fly if God willing. But it used to be. God willing. There's some acknowledgement at least that finally everything's at least the lawyers officially recognize it because they put into every contract barring acts of God, da, 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 da. Right? There are some things that are beyond our control. And my client doesn't want to be sued for them. But we have to acknowledge that there, and we do acknowledge there's some things beyond our control, but we don't understand who's controlling. And we don't acknowledge them sufficiently. We think, yeah, well, tornadoes, they're beyond my control. But day-to-day activities, it's all up to me. No, who was Karna, couldn't remember what he needed to remember. He couldn't remember the mantra that he needed to fire off his windows. Couldn't remember. We can all relate to, how many times there's an expression in French. I don't know the French word, but it means the answer from the stairs. You're having an argument, and then when you leave and you're heading down the stairs, then you remember what you should have said. Why couldn't we have remembered when we needed it? But the response occurs to us later because it's not within our control. Or to someone it does. He's got just the right response at the right time. So even in ordinary day-to-day affairs, destiny. But I have one god brother. He on 9/11, he went to report for work at the World Trade Center, but then he remembered he'd forgotten his keys or something. Something he'd forgotten, so he went back home and missed the whole show. And other people, perhaps wouldn't have gone that day, but somehow or other. So there's in the Shakespeare sonnet said, there's a destiny that shapes our ends, rough hew them though we may. There's a destiny, someone wants to look it up and get the exact right words, but there's a destiny that shapes our ends, rough hew them though we may. you cut the logs and it's kind of a rough cut. And then when you want to build your log cabin, or when you want to build a cabinet or something, then you shape it. Right? You've got your tools, your sandpaper, until it comes exactly what you want. So we may do the rough cutting, but finally destiny shapes our hands. It's not in our hands. There's a destiny that shapes our hands. Someone find it? Yes, loud enough.
There is a destiny that shapes our hands, rough hew them as we
Okay, it was only one word off. Rough hew them as we may. Same purport. That we may make the rough cut, but finally what actually happens is up to Krishna.
But to the non-devotee, it doesn't seem like it's Krishna directly, but rather the mechanistic system of karma. Well, something in my past life has determined that I'm going to succeed.
It's not up to God, it's my past karma.
Or that is, obviously God is the creator of karma. But my question is, isn't he, in a sense, he removes himself and lets the living entity, fall on his
Yes, that's also there. It's not that God has to get in there and say, okay, now he's going to miss the bus. Now he's going to, whatever it is. Not work just in the right way. Okay, it's good. Not that Krishna wastes his time with all that stuff. What is that? Parashya Shakti Jaidvaita Shruyate. Sabhavaki. This energies automatically do this stuff. They know what Krishna wants, and so they do it. That's also Krishna. He was arrested by the police. He was only arrested by one policeman, but the whole organization that went into that, the points bulletin and the electronic information that they needed, the police car, the whole thing, the authority. A policeman can't arrest anyone. He's just a guy. But when he's got a badge on him and he has the government authority behind him, he can give you your rights and put you under arrest. And he doesn't have to check in with headquarters. Can I arrest this guy or not? So material energy, yes. This is what the boss wants. This is what we're going to do. Krishna has given me this job. And so, yeah, Krishna doesn't have to personally supervise, which is a big answer to, sort of objections or misgivings that one might have about God. As a child, what is it? Is he like micromanaging everything? I mean, like in everything in my life, God is somehow, it just doesn't somehow really seem right. But here's how it works, that there's a whole system, and God is present in every department, the way that the owner of a business is present in every department. He doesn't personally have to do all of these things. Decide that now this lizard is going to eat this bug. Why should he waste his time in such trivia? But the whole thing is moving under his direction. And he reserves himself for the devotees, for these loving exchanges with the devotees. Bhaktya mam abhijananti, tato mam tattato gyatvam vishate. The devotees enter into the internal world of Krishna for loving exchanges with Krishna. That's what Krishna is. They say you have to prioritize, you have to decide yes to this, no to that. So to the Mayavadis, to the Gyanis, to the Yogis, to the Karmis, no. No time. No interest. You're not really interested in me. I'm not really interested in you. Interested means to the extent that you're interested in me. Yeah, I'm also interested in you. Even greater than that extent, still, and try to save you. But for the devotees, sadhavo hridayam, sadhavo hridayam, nate they don't know anyone but me. I don't know anyone but them. They're in my heart. I'm in their heart. They're in my heart. Yes. Hold on.
Thank you. So, said about destiny. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha pratakam vilasam Krishna daivam sevasam. Ultimately destiny or Krishna. But when we use these arguments with during preaching or non-devotees, then there are like a couple of things that come up, like counter questions. Like, why should we do anything at all? If everything is under Krishna's control, then it is His will that things will happen. And similarly, when people want to do something bad, some criminal activity or something.
Well, let's do them one at a time. The objection is that, well, if everything's up to Krishna, then why should I do anything? Well, because part of Krishna's arrangement is that if you don't do anything, you won't get any result. Whether you get a degree or not is finally up to the university officials. But if you don't do anything, you'll not get the degree.
Basically, it's both. It's our effort and it's Krishna's will. Both has to be there.
Yeah, Krishna doesn't say to Arjuna that you sleep and I'll fight the battle for you. At Kurukshetra, nimitta matra, you act as my devotee, you act as my instrument. It's not that Krishna says you do nothing because everything's in my hand. Everything's in my hand, but your natural position is to act as my servant. Not to do nothing while I do everything.
So
You're also one of my energies, so you're also meant to act cooperatively.
So, and the other thing is when people do something bad, there's something about immoral activity or some criminal activity, then also they can use this argument that it's because Krishna is really made me do it. So
Yeah, well, that's part of your criminal mentality. And we all do that, If something happened, it was his fault. We're all looking for, it was my husband's fault. It was my wife's fault. It was somebody, it wasn't me. We all look to place blame elsewhere because I couldn't have done anything. Maybe but nothing serious. First choice is to find someone else to blame it on. So God becomes the natural object of blame. Anything that didn't go right, or especially anything I might be to blame for, we can blame on him. But Krishna, in every scripture in the world, Krishna tells you, don't do this. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it's similar. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So who can say, no, it's God's fault? As if you were, you weren't told? You robbed the bank, it was the government's fault. No. But they do that, because the government didn't see that, my family needed a bigger welfare check and this and that. So it's their fault. If the government had taken better care of me, I wouldn't be robbing the bank, Your Honor. Well, His Honor is not going to accept that argument. Because there's plenty of people who didn't get a bigger welfare check who didn't rob the bank. So finally, there's some tiny element of free will, and therefore you bear responsibility. It's not simply that God or destiny dictates everything, and you have no role. That role you have to be submissive or obedient, or to be disobedient. That's your choice. And if you're disobedient, go to jail. Go to the gallows. And then you can go to the gallows saying, they made me do it, or it's God's fault, or whatever. But still, you go to the gallows.
He would also use that excuse of
Devotees use that excuse means
in a sense that even if I do something bad, it will be seen as a sadhu.
well, generally one doesn't. That verse is there. Api chet sudarat sharo. Generally, it's not the offender who's meant to invoke the verse, but others should take heed of it. Not that the offender said, whatever I did, I'm a devotee, I'm a sadhu, I should be forgiven and honored and seen as a saint. He doesn't think that way. But Kshipram Dharmatma, he becomes Dharmatma, and part of being Dharmatma is that you become humble. Not that you think, yes, I'm a saintly person. But others who are Krishna's devotees should take. Not that somebody did something, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he quickly rectified himself, but we get on the internet and say, oh, blah, 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 blah. He's a this, he's a that, he's a this, he's a that. How can he be allowed to breathe? Now he's a sadhu, but I'm not a sadhu. Because I'm blaspheming Krishna's devotees. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has such a strong purport on this. Take the opportunity sometimes to see his purport. Basically, but he did this, but he did that, he did this, he did that. And Krishna becomes angry and says, I don't want to hear it. He's my devotee. Go in the street, bang a gong, and say, my devotee is always considered saint. Very strong purport, but he seduced his guru's wife. I don't care. He's my devotee. But as Prabhupada points out, not that you do these things again and again and again and expect that sadhu is, Krishna says, he quickly comes to the point of being Dharma. Not that he goes on. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just a question, Maharaj. The first time when you heard about Krishna, what did you think about him? What were the thoughts?
I don't think I can tell you. I was probably too intoxicated at the time.
So I share another experience, Maharaj. I was talking to someone who's not into Krishna consciousness, but reading Bhagavad Gita, and they like the philosophy, it all makes sense. But when it comes to Krishna, they feel a little, difficulty in accepting.
Yeah, that's even you may be a great translator of Bhagavad Gita and have a little difficulty in accepting and want to say that it's not to Krishna that we have to surrender, but it's something personal, something within Krishna. So it's not just the people you meet, it's even big scholars who have this problem. maybe fathers of nations who read Bhagavad Gita in their public meetings, but can't believe that Krishna would have actually told Arjuna to kill.
So is it envy or is it ego that stops?
Well, the two go together, don't they? Whatever it is, these are all symptoms of our disease, of Prabhupada says Krishna phobia. It's the big deal these days, homophobia, but we're more afraid of Krishna. Krishna phobia.
Thank you, man.
I may be homophobic or homophiliac, but I'm afraid of Krishna. I don't want to acknowledge Krishna. That's the disease of conditions. Of course, it's at least if someone thinks that there's something in Bhagavad Gita, that's at least some progress. He's accepting some words from Krishna. We can hope that he'll make further progress. What is that? He'll finally surrender, because Krishna does say, what is that? At the end of Bhagavad Gita. This is the story. Hold on a second, I'm just looking for a verse. Just at the very end. Adyeshate Trayayamam Karmyam Sanbadamavyoho Tena Gyanak Yagena Tena Ham Ishtasyanti Menati. Someone's reading Bhagavad Gita, he's worshipping me by his intelligence. So we're distributing Bhagavad Gita. We know that the people that we're distributing them to are not devoted to Krishna. They may not accept, that they may not even accept the existence of God, whatever. But if they give a little appreciation to the words of Bhagavad Gita, well, that's a chance for them. They gradually come forward, make progress, finally. Gyanavan Bhagavad Gita. But that will happen if they hear from a devotee. If they hear Bhagavad Gita from the non-devotees, they will get the same effect. Yes. I think a little louder. The microphone doesn't do everything. You have to act also.
I got some of the videos you have been told in close associated with service in Prabhupada. Would you like to please share any ecstatic moments with
I didn't really get it, but you want me to talk about ecstatic moments with Srila Prabhupada. I don't think that's not what I do. I try to repeat what I've learned from Prabhupada. I sort of don't do that. Some people, that's what they do, and it's wonderful. They're full of stories about their experiences with Srila Prabhupada. So my inclination is more to repeat what Prabhupada taught. Sorry, I can't, ecstatic, but what ecstasy. Yes.
You're speaking.
about the other thing with we were talking about? I remember reading in one of Prabhupada's small books,
Yes.
like when I was first going to the temple. If you don't, something like if you don't believe
The
Krishna is God,
CDC has given permission for people asking questions to remove their masks.
if you don't believe Krishna is God, then try to find out who he is. I don't remember which small book, but it's one of the small books that intrigued me.
If you don't accept Krishna as God, then try to understand who God is,
Who he is.
who Krishna is.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because if you are sincerely wondering, who God, and you try to find out who he is, you'll come to that
Hmm.
conclusion.
Hmm. Yeah. You just try to understand Krishna, you'll come to the conclusion that he's God.
Yes, I'm just thinking, you can tell them, okay, you don't accept Krishna, but who is he then?
The Prabhupada approached it from another way. That's also valid. But Prabhupada also approached it a different way. That he was arguing with someone that there must be God. He's arguing from Shastra, from logic, that there must be God. Yeah. Maybe we need to tell our phones, you know what to tell it. Probably includes my phone. Yeah. Get embarrassed here with my phone rings. I should have said something at the beginning. My phone. So Prabhupada was arguing with someone that for this and that reason there must be God. So the person understood where that argument was going. So he said, yes, but why must Krishna be God? And Prabhupada responded, Krishna may or may not be God. That we can discuss later. My point is that there must be God. That he refused to take the bait. My point is that there must be God. Krishna, we can talk about later. He may or may not be God. But the first thing is, so that's, you can take it that way. First, I have to accept that there's God. Then we'll see whether Krishna is God. You don't even accept that there's God, and you're making, well, why do I have to accept Krishna as God? You don't even accept that there's God. So Prabhupada was taking it from that angle. First, accept that there's God. Then we'll see who God is, who occupies that post. First thing is that you have to accept that there's God. But what you said is also true, that if you're taking interest in Krishna and try to understand who Krishna is, you'll come to the conclusion he must be God. Yes.
Well, I've also heard Prabhupada take another tack by saying, okay, tell us who is God, and we'll see whether,
Yeah. If you don't accept Krishna, present your candidate. That was right. That's another way Prabhupada did. All right. You don't accept Krishna as God. You bring someone forward. You tell us who God is. Bring your lame candidate.
So Maharaja, you were explaining, how Krishna doesn't have to worry about this, doesn't eating that insect, because he's all powerful. So so within this group, we told a story in this regard. He said that because he was raised a Protestant, he'd go to church every Sunday. So he said that when he was about 12 or 13 years old, he began to think, God is so powerful, and running the material world, it doesn't take anything. So he went to the priest and said, what does God do in his spare time? And the priest couldn't answer it. So within this group, we thought, well, it must be boring to be God. He has nothing to do.
Tasya karyam karanam travidite. He has nothing to do. He must be bored. Again, Atmavan Manyateja, if I have nothing to do, I'm bored. I get on the old days the phone and say, so what are you doing? Because I'm bored. Now we get on the internet because we're bored. So Krishna, he must be bored. No. God must be bored. He has so much to do. But what is that? Najishyate Mudavisham. The Mudhas can't see. Gosh. Certain parts of the palace are curtained off. You can't see what's going on. You just get to see the outer court. Shall we stop at 8:30? Now being 8:30. 8:30 being now. Okay. You want to have kirtan for a few minutes? Without kirtan.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nami Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Saraswati Gauravani Nirvishesha Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Gadadhar Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastadi Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya 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 Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare Sachir Mata Pranadhana Gaura Hare Sachir Mata Pranadhana Gaura 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 Hare Gaura Gaura Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Jaidvaita Swami Maharaj ki
Yeah.